All right, I'm gonna put this out there because I got an email yesterday, and it's an XRP XLM question. I just couldn't type it back because I get asked it a lot, and it's just I can't keep typing it over and over again. So, all right, and I just had it here. 2 seconds. All right, as far as the merger between XRP and XLM and how I foresee a merger. Okay, let me see if I get the question here. 2 seconds. All right, bear with me for 1 second. I just had it here. Okay, so many emails. All right, let me just answer it this way. I'll find it in the whole mix of it. All right, like I said, if you send me an email, don't get upset if I don't get back to you. It's just, it. Look, I'll just. You understand? It just continues. Love you motherfuckers, but there you go. XRP and XLM. XRP is basically the coin on the Ripple network, basically the Ripple network that the banks, institutions, governments, and corporations, big corporations like, institutes, are going to be using in order to move money and have instant settlement along the Ripple network all around the world. Okay, that's XRP. People like XLM. XLM is basically for people to use. Let's say if I wanted to use it and I don't want to go with a bank, XLM is the Ripple network without banks, institutes, governments, and corporations. So just think about, if you want to think about it like XRP is for them, XLM is for us. It does the same thing, but it's for people to be able to do it. So let's say I want to pay somebody in another country for something, XLM will be the one I will be using. Why I say that in the future they will be merged, XRP and XLM. They both run on the same network, blockchain, if you would. What happens when banks, institutes, governments, and corporations need to send money and the price of XRP is high? Okay, let's just say hypothetically, let's just say it's high, and they want to stack them up. They're going to go, all right, XLM. So what's going to happen, the utilization of XLM to shore up XRP, it's inevitable. You don't see it today, but later on they're going to be in par because they're going to be both be used. Right now it's not. Right now XRP is doing what 600 million in transaction. It's banks, institutes, major corporations, like the OPEC nations are now getting on the Ripple network. So that the XRP is going to be the main one climbing as people adopt the XLM. But understand something, the XLM and the XRP do the same exact thing on the same exact blockchain, the same exact settlement times. The only difference is who's designated as far as the end user. But the end users from the government, banks, institutes, and corporations can overlap into XLM. Let me give you an example. Bitcoin. When Bitcoin started out, it started out in a stupid thing with a couple of guys as far as that understood Bitcoin and the wallets and stuff like that. It was a screen back then. It really was. It was this digital money. It was this. All of us knew in the future, but we didn't know at that moment. So using Bitcoin, there were people that were using Bitcoin in college campuses to bet money on games and stuff like that in dorm rooms. Bitcoin was for people, but it was also something that could be used by governments to get around the whole SWIFT, IMF type world, the dollar, it had that. So it was created for all, but people adopted Bitcoin before governments did, and institutions and banks and everything. Now go forward in time, banks, institutions, governments, corporations, they use Bitcoin. They use Bitcoin, the hedge funds, they use it. people use it, and now the other side, I'm going to call them the institutes and governments, they use it. So Bitcoin overlap. It went from like XLM to XRP, where in XRP, it's going to be the ones that are using it now are the banks, institutes, governments, corporations, who are also going to be coming over to the XLM because they're going to be using that as well. So the overlap is opposite of what Bitcoin was. Bitcoin started for the people and, banks and everybody else to use it. So it went from people to them. But in XRP, it's going to go from XRP, banks, institutes, government, corporations, over to XLM, which is for the people. It's going to cross over. So you're eventually going to have it streamlined. Right now, Bitcoin, people look at it as Wall Street's, digital currency. It didn't start out that way. It started out for the people. So from the people to the corporations and governments and institutes and everything else like that, that was Bitcoin. Now XRP starts out on this side, and then eventually we'll go over to that side, and then eventually XLM, XRP. That's just how it is. There's no way. So you're going to see a merger. Are you going to see XLM disappear in the future? No, it's just going to have be equal in par value and usage on the XRP network, or Ripple, if you would. That's all it is. It's just software. The SEC wants to put regulations and everything like that. Is it a securities? Whatever. Is it code? It's a security if people invest in it for money, an investment. So let's say you have a fund selling it as an investment, or saying, hey, if you give us X amount of money, we'll put it into this financial package, and you could get money in return. So the SEC is correct on that. If it's used as an investment tool, asset, yes, it is a security. But as it stands right now, it's software code. That's all it is. So all you're doing is buying pieces of software code that will be used on a bigger network as it expands. So XRP, XLM in the future, they're going to be used one and one. That's what I mean by the merger. It's not an official thing like we are now getting rid of XLM and it's only going to be XL. No, it's not like that. It's just they're going to be used in part the same. Right now, today, if I wanted to send my brother money via Bitcoin, I go into my wallet, boom, 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 send it to him. It's the same way if a hedge fund wants to buy a certain amount of shares or make a payment, they can use Bitcoin as well. Or the same way if El Salvador wants to buy a certain amount of fuel from Venezuela, they can use Bitcoin as well. See the overlap? Same thing's gonna happen with XRP. That's just all XRP, XLM. So I hope that makes sense in that universe because it's a lucrative one.